the aquarium recently got 15 million, right, in CRA funds to go towards the expansion. Super exciting news though, because you were on the show last year and talked about the expansion. You're going to have South African penguins, right? I mean, what else is coming? There's some really cool new things.
No, it's look, it's an exciting time for the Florida Aquarium. We'll turn 30 next year. And we opened up our first exhibit, Morphed, last summer. And this is $45 million capital expansion renovation. It's our largest animal exhibit centric renovation in the history. So
it's
coming
amazing.
up on 30 years, right? And it's based on what our public is asking for, right?
Yeah.
We talk to them regularly. We talk to our members, we talk to our guests, we try to figure out. So Morphed opened up last year. Next year, what you're going to see, by the summer of 2025, the second floor is going to get a whole new gallery. It's going to be an expanded tide touch pool experience where more people can get up close to different animals and exotic animals. Some you can kind of see along the the rugged coast here of Florida and other places in Maine and beyond. 26, you'll see a 2-story puffin habitat that will open up, one of only 5 puffin exhibits in North America. So again, a unique moment, right? Like not only you live here and you want to see puffins that you can't normally see because only 4 others are going to have them, but it's also, we know it's going to be a traffic driver. It's going to support tourism, right? And then in 2027, what we'll do is we'll have the outdoor area with the new California sea lion exhibit, as well as the expansion of our African penguin exhibit. So, look, we're in a great place. This expansion will, make sure that our attendance is above that 1 million mark regularly. We just broke the 1 million mark last year, and we're on track for that again. And I think again, the city, Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay region deserves a world-class aquarium. We've built that. We continue to build that. We never rest on our laurels. And when this project's over, it'll be super exciting, and we'll figure out what's next.
I believe that the investment and all of this, it's essentially education, right? You're teaching and allowing people to get a look at things that they've never seen before and leave the aquarium with an experience. Look at what happened with the state park fiasco here in Florida, how news broke, right? There's a whistleblower that comes out, and it's maybe a long story, but basically says that, hey, there's a threat to our environment. There's a threat to our environment. The state's looking to do X, Y, Z. The whistleblower comes out with the information. Look how millions of people in Florida rallied together and put a stop to that so immediately. I have a feeling that the reason Floridians came together is because Floridians are educated on the local environment through things like the aquarium, right? If you never went out on the water, if you never knew anything about the coral reefs, if you didn't really care because you never saw anything or got to touch a stingray with your hand, maybe when news like that comes out, you're not as fired up, right? So it's like that the public information aspect to me is the most important thing about this expansion. We need people to care just for that reason. Imagine if that went through. We talked earlier about like the decisions we make today are going to affect us 20, 50, 100 years down the road. Florida needs to be careful on the environment end of it. If we disrespect that, or if we don't plan to preserve it, in 50 years, good luck.
Absolutely.
Good luck driving people here.
No, I agree with you. I mean, there's an important role that the Florida Aquarium and aquariums like us, Zoo Tampa and zoos play, right? And that is connecting you with nature. We're much more in an urban setting. We may not feel it as much sometimes here, right? The way the weather is, but I think it's in 2015 or so, the UN basically said it's for the first time in like human history, more people live in what's considered an urban setting than a rural setting or a naturalistic setting. So we become these gateways to nature. And now when you take, the zoo can whisk you around the world just to care about animals. And by the way, if you care about a rhino, more than likely you're caring about something in our backyard as well. But let's go to the aquarium, right? So the Florida Aquarium. How many times you drive down Bayshore Boulevard or you go over to the Gulf and you look and you see this shimmering little surface. Maybe you see a dorsal fin pop up once in a while. But do you really know what's under there? No, none of us do. And I don't care. I work at the aquarium and I don't know what's under there. But when you walk into the Florida Aquarium, to your point, all of a sudden now you're transformed into this underwater aquatic world that is teeming with life and beauty. And you're like, huh, I didn't realize that, that fish lived there, or that lobster lived there, or maybe I ought to care a little more. Or I learned something that, when you do something in your own personal life, don't recycle, or, throw beads or something, like, it does have an effect. And so I agree with you. One of the interesting, so this is not to go political, but but it kind of leans that way. One of the interesting things that I hear across the country from a lot of colleagues, right, is, kind of the political state of what Florida is in, and how can you, or, whatever the judgments are. And I have literally come back and said, I'm going to answer the question from environment, natural resources, and, kind of animals. There are very few states who embrace the natural world than Florida. So forget about the ideology of politics, because to your point, the average person, Republican, Democrat, independent, whatever you are, has an affinity and has a connection to our natural world in different ways. And so to your point of rallying about a park, right, to step up around the state, to see some of these corridors that are here in Florida, conservation land that needs to be set aside when a new development comes in, right? People caring for, I don't care if it's economics because the fishing industry is $1 billion industry, or if it's just, the right thing to do for our backyard. Floridians are really in tune and they care about our environment. At the end of the day, I think organizations like the Florida Aquarium, to your point, help educate, help, people have those connections, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see.
Well, I think it bridges a gap that is the only roadblock to disasters that might not be able to be fixed. Meaning, like, in the 1970s, there were these large pushes for helping the environment in different ways. Like when my dad was little, they just used to open up the sewers and dump it in Tampa Bay before the public was educated why that's probably a bad thing to do, right? So I think like the only separator between us destroying or preserving the natural environment is the public's education. You're always probably going to have a set group of individuals that are super passionate and like environmentally nerdy, and that goes for anything, whether it's affordable housing or transportation or any issue. You're going to have a group of people that are very dedicated and just like consumed with that information. But it almost doesn't matter if the masses aren't educated on whatever particular subject you're trying to push through. And we are lucky, you're right. Like in Florida, there's a lot of people that recognize the importance of it, probably because we all live on the coast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a population map of Florida, like 90% of us live along the coast. Hey guys, if you want to watch the full episode of this clip, click right here. Make sure to subscribe by clicking right here. Thank you for watching.